how do I create the install? How do I create the install file for it? Okay, now there's different. I couldn't find anything that was default in Unity, unless it came out with a brand new version. But there's a bunch of different options. This is one of them. Jordan Russell's software, and I don't know how you pronounce this. I know. Setup downloads here, and I'll give you this link. I'll put this in the final project. We're also going to look at this YouTube video. Let me bring that up. Although you probably don't need a YouTube video. This is how to go through and how to make a game installer. So it goes through all the different settings that are in this package. Lots of settings, lots of different things you can do with it. Well, first off, let's go create a game. I'm not going to make a very exciting one. I'm just going to have it move based upon arrow keys. So we get up Unity loaded. Okay, create a new game. And if we get disconnected, I'll go ahead and continue creating a video. Probably won't be disconnected. I've been creating everything under this one folder. So let me come to downloads here and create a new folder. Maybe this is where your final project is going to be. Okay, select that folder. And I'll click the create down here. The reason I say if we get disconnected, the networking people are here and they're got ladders out in the hallway and they're doing something up in the ceiling. I'm assuming with the wiring. So if I lose connection, I should still be able to finish the recording. One of the nastiest jobs going up in the ceiling where the wiring is. A lot of companies will contract that out because it's so dirty, it's hot, it doesn't take real skilled labor to run wiring, and that's why I was asked the guy who was doing it, and I said it's pretty dirty up there. He said, "Yeah, it's pretty dirty. It's pretty hot too." So it's interesting. I'm kind of cold here myself. I still got my coat on, but if I had interesting stories to tell you while it's loading, I'd tell you, but that's as interesting as they get. Now I've run this package on at home. I got a little bit older version at home, um, but I want to do it from scratch here because I wanted to, so you can see it fresh. Never been installed on this machine. But first, again, let's create our game. So I'm going to my project here, my assets. I'm going to right click and choose create and not create, import new asset. I'll look for my standard Pink Panther. Okay, drop my Pink Panther on here. And I need to put script behind the Pink Panther, so I come over here to add component, choose new script, called Pink Move, enter. Come over here, double click on Pink Move, wait another couple minutes. I know we've had some speed issues, so maybe that's what they're looking into. Some of the YouTube videos I've played for the various classes have been kind of choppy in terms of speed. Okay, now I'm not going to spend much time. I'm not going to do the delta time on this or anything. I'm just going to slap something together real quick. Okay, so public float speed. And I'm going to have a vector2 position. I can get rid of my start. I'm not going to do anything with that. For my update, I'm going to check. Or actually, I guess I can retrieve. Position is equal to this dot transform dot position. Then I'm going to check if input dot get key key code right arrow. Then position.x is equal to position.x plus speed. I'll copy all that. And change this to left arrow. Change it to a minus. I could do an else if, since it can't be both. And now that I'm thinking about it, I might as well put this piece right here, right within each of these. That way, it doesn't do it on every game cycle. Only does it when you've done a right arrow, left arrow, and so forth. And along with that, I guess I need to put it back to the object. So I'll set this dot transform dot position equal to position, which is my vector2 that is changed. Highlight that, do a copy, come down here, do a paste. Do a control C, control V, and control V. Okay, so instead of left arrow, up arrow, and I'm going to have my Y increase, and I'll have my down arrow, and I'll have my Y decrease. Okay, so that all looks correct. Save that. Come over here. Got our Pink Panther. Under the hierarchy, click there, and now I see speed here. So I'll change that to something. 3. And run it. Now, if I do my right arrow key, that's too fast. So if I come here and change this to a 1, And now if I run it, okay, that's better. Okay, so we just created a game. Now if I go to the build settings, if I go to File and Build Settings here, by default, you see sample scene is included in my scenes in my build. And you can, if you got other scenes, you can click them and drag and drop them up here. If you don't do that, when you do your build for your install file, then it won't have those scenes or the code there. Over here, you can choose a platform, and you can see all the different ones you can program for. We're going to focus on two. We'll focus on WGL and this top one. We'll do the top one first, and then we'll go down to the WGL. When I choose WGL, it should install some add-ins, allow us to use that, some code libraries, I should say. You can program for these other ones also. This is just not like cell phones, but like a MacBook. You can program for a game for there and so forth. But anyway, I want this first one. And target platform is Windows, and you see you can choose different architectures, although it won't go too far back. And Windows is the only option there under that. Okay, so at this point, I click build, and that build my exe and so forth. If I click the build, ask me what directory, so I could put it on new folder, test, select that, and believe it's working now. There it goes. Last time I did that, I was thinking it wasn't working, so I was clicking build again. Okay, so notice that we're in it opened this automatically, by the way. We're in the test folder, and you see we now have an exe. I didn't give it a very good, meaningful name, New Unity Project 12, because that's what I called the project. I didn't change the name of it. But if I double click that exe, it'll run my game. And I doubt you can see it on your end. Can you see that, Kyle? Oh, okay. That's interesting. And I can do my arrow keys and move my character around. Let's see, go back to here. I'm going to do a Control Alt Delete. Go to Task Manager and kill that project or kill that game that's running. Let's see, fewer details. Make sure I kill the right one. Here's the exe right here. So I'll click End Task. I didn't put any kind of exit into my game, so but you could program, hit escape to quit the game, type of deal. Um, Interestingly enough, on my version at home, and it's changed between that version and this one, is it would allow me to run it in windowed mode, but that didn't come up as an option here. So create video. See if they moved it anywhere in here. I don't see any options. Go to player settings. Um, since it did change, let me Google that real quick. Um, don't want something from not 8 years ago. So past year. Yeah, it comes up and asks me for my screen size and everything. Edit project settings, player resolution. Project settings, player resolution and presentation. There it is. Windowed. Okay, so I'm gonna choose windowed, and guess I don't have to save it. No save option, so it will save automatically. Now I'm gonna go ahead and click a build and run. So it'll go ahead and run at the same time. And again, test is fine there. In real life, you wouldn't want to run it in windowed, I wouldn't think, or maybe you want to give them the option. Um, but you'd want to provide some way to accept. It's still not doing windowed. That's interesting. Control Alt Delete. Now I guess I'll read their answer and why it's not working. There it goes. Not that that matters for what I'm going to show you, but it's more of a curiosity. Adding the little script to the camera sort of works. Screen set resolution. I don't want to go to that kind of effort. Seems like a bug. Hmm. Well, anyway, I guess that sort of works. It worked in a previous version. The one I have at home works just fine on. But let me just check to make sure it didn't set it back. Edit, project settings, player resolution. Still says windowed. Capture signals. Player look like a sizable window. Visible in background. Allow full screen switch. One more time. Then we'll give that up. Because, like I say, that's not the goal of what we're showing today, anyway. I wouldn't even be on latest and greatest, except for every semester has some students download his latest and greatest. That's still doing it. Okay, so come back here, kill it, Control Alt Delete, bring up Task Manager. You can also bring that up down here, I think, if you right click on this, here's Task Manager. So right click on the bar down here, you can bring this up. Assuming you can see a Task Manager on your side. Okay, so kill that. Anyway, we got our game, and that's how you can create it so you can run it on your own PC. Now this, the WebGL, we'll look at after the install. This allows you to create a web page out of it, so you can put it up on your server, and you could run the game off the web. And I did that. I did that prior in a prior version. Works pretty good actually. Got good performance and so forth. Uploads a lot of files. I'm not sure how comfortable people are running games off the a web page that they're not familiar with, but okay, close that. I'm gonna go ahead and save everything. To be honest, I don't remember if I had the project open when I did this last night, but I'll close it when we get closer to that point. Okay, so you need to install this software first, and this is takes you directly to the download page, but there's a link over here, and if you weren't on the download page, it goes here. I went down here, and which one did I click on? I clicked stable release, and I chose US. And it's downloading here. Once it gets done downloading, you click it. And it's going to go through and install the package. I just chose install for me only. Since I'd never used it before, just watched YouTube videos on it. I didn't want to take the risk of it messing up profiles across the entire computer. Just in case I needed to delete my current user and create a brand new one on that computer. So I installed for me only, and I chose English. Click OK. I accepted whatever they said, didn't even read it. I'm sure they don't want me to sign away my child or anything. I think I left it as default there. And I left that as default. And I think I created a desktop shortcut, but I'm not quite sure why. I don't usually like to do that. And I clicked install. Runs very fast. Then you launch the setup. At this point, I closed this window down. So I just had my my setup compiler here. It's always a good sign when you see version 6. That means they're updating it. It's been around for a little while. This goes through all the different settings that go along with that. So we'll have this playing, and then I'll kind of go back and forth. There's no sound here. Normally, I hate videos like that, but it was such a simple program to use that I didn't mind. He just was going through and doing a build based upon whatever his settings were going to be. Okay. Now, I really didn't follow the video last time when I did this. It's so simple, you really don't need to, but especially since there's no words. But if you do a file new here, brings you up to the script wizard here, and you can create a new empty script file if you want. Uh, this would be like if you wanted to save off your settings. So save off what you're doing. And so anyway, I click next. It'll come up and ask me for my application name. And so I could call it Pink Panther Game. You give it a version number, whatever you want. Maybe it's 1.1 version. Um, you can put all this information in here. Like I said, I'm not going to fill everything out. Click next. This talks about where do you want your base, your destination base folder. Program files, or you can choose a custom one. Program files is kind of the default, the one you can go with. Um, so he just went with leaving that as default and leaving this as the folder name. I'm not sure if I like the fact that these have spaces in there, but it shouldn't matter for Windows 10. It says allow user to change the application folder so they can install it somewhere else. Or I think this would be horrible. The application doesn't need a folder. I don't know where that was installed, to be honest. But it probably mix it up, probably throw everything on your desktop, knowing my luck. You click next, then this will ask you where your exe is located at. So then you have to click browse, and have to actually remember where you put it at. Okay, I put mine under downloads, final project, test, and here's where my exe is located at. So this one right here. So I click it, then click open. I see the options here. Allow user to start the application after setup is finished. You've seen that where you install it and it says you want to go ahead and run your program. If you don't have a main executable file, not sure why you wouldn't have one, but if you didn't have one, I suppose you can mark that. Or if you got other application files, you can choose that. Then it'll come up. Get too far ahead of this. I didn't do that. You do have to do that. Application files. So you add folder. I forgot I did that last night. Then where was downloads, final project, and choose a test here because there's a lot of files underneath there. Click OK. Do you want to include all the subfolders? And I click yes. And click next. And then for a lot of this, I just left as default. Create a shortcut to the main executable in the common start menu programs folder. That's down here. If you don't want a shortcut there, then you'd uncheck that. Allow a user to create a desktop shortcut. Allow a user to create a quick launch shortcut on older versions of Windows. I must have leave all that. License file. This would be like if you were selling it and you wanted to distribute a license file, where you'd email it to them or something once you receive payment, or release it in some form after they went through PayPal or whatever. We don't have any license file. And these are, I don't know what these are. Information file shown before installation, after installation. Maybe if you had a big document of instructions for the installation, then you can do that. I guess this would be like a end user agreement. Um, by installing, you agree that if my program corrupts every file in your hard drive, you'll not sue me, type of deal, I suppose. You can come to the install mode here and choose admin install mode, install for all users, or you can choose non-admin install mode, install for current user only. That's kind of a big choice there. I'm going to choose. Last night I chose the admin install mode. Choose non-admin install mode. In theory, though I don't think you'd probably be successful, I could go back to my uh, computer on my desktop and I could install this, since I wouldn't need admin rights. Ask user to choose install mode to start up, all that, but I'm going to go ahead and choose that. Now he specified in the video to select all of these. And so select all like that. He or she, I should say. I'm not sure what would happen if you did choose Armenian, if it actually would come up with Armenian words. Now click next. Okay, and I'm pretty sure on this one I left this as is, but let's go back. Okay, he did change that test setup. Probably doesn't matter. I don't think I changed that if I remember right last night. Password, I guess, if you want to password enable it. Let's see next. I don't remember what I chose there. Let's see. Okay, so I click next there, and then click finish. It asked me, do you want to compile the script now? And I said yes. Would you like to save it? And I clicked yes, just so I wouldn't have to go through all that again. This is my pink move.iss. Goes through, takes all of your settings, it's locating the exe, it's gathering all those files into that folder. After you've generated it, you can run it under that folder. Then that has everything it needs. It goes out whatever it needs from registry it gets. Okay, so it just said finished. I'm glad it didn't error out or anything. Um, If I go to that folder, I see there's now an output. If I double click the output, everything is now contained in this test setup exe file. And I'm gonna show it. If I run this, it'll want me to install, and I can choose Armenian if I wanted to. Maybe. I don't see Armenian there. That's bizarre. I guess if you're from Armenia, we don't care. Or maybe this is Armenian for Armenian. Interesting. Anyway, choose English. It'll ask me where I want to install it at, and it defaulted to where I specified in the script. And I'll go ahead and click next there. I'll create a desktop shortcut. Click next, and then click install. And you could launch it here if you want. I'm going to uncheck that and click finish. And let me escape on that. And you see it created a Pink Panther game here. You can put your own custom icon in there also. But if I click that now, it'll probably come up full screen. Not sure why. And I can do my arrow keys to move it. I'm going to do an Alt-Tab to go back to some window. So I can bring up the Task Manager. So I right-click in the bar down here, choose Task Manager. So I can kill my program. And there's that one. I'll click End Task. Okay. Let me go Google Drive. Maybe I don't know how to go Google Drive. Well, let me go to docs.google.com. Then I'll click these three little lines over here. Google Drive this way. Okay, drive.google.com. You should realize that. Okay, I'm going to upload that file. So maybe I'll create a new folder first. Create a new folder. A Pink Panther. Put there up top. Change that folder. And now I'll choose new, and I'll do a file upload, and I'll upload that. Let's see, where was it at? Downloads. Final project. Test, output, and upload that exe. Okay, so we have this here. If I click that, do a right click and choose Get Shareable Link. That copied my URL that I should need. Let's try to do a Control V. I never have tried this, by the way. I got my own website. But if I go to that, then it says no preview available, but it says there's a download option. So I'm going to click download. Waiting for drive.google.com. Okay, so then since downloading right here, the bottom left-hand corner, and I'll click that test setup. Says, hey, this is from an unrecognized source. Do you really want to do it? I click more info, and I'm gonna say run anyway because I created it. I know it's safe. Goes through my install, create a desktop shortcut, and click install. And then I could launch it if I wanted to. Anyway, I'll click finish. This is for your final project. This is what I want you to do is create your game. And I'll talk about the game here in a minute. And I want you to create an install file. And I'll put these links up here and so forth. And then I want you to upload it to Google Drive. And all you'll turn in is the shareable link, what you just saw me get. And then I'll install it on my PC and run your game. Preferably have a way to exit out, unlike me. So I have some kind of escape or whatever it is. You can have a button in game or something like that, but have some way to end it. Now for the game itself, you can go beyond what I'm giving here. If you have a different idea, I'm fine with that. I don't want to stifle creativity. But I want you to, my idea is for you to create one level of a platformer. So we did that. We spent a lot of time on that Super Mario Brothers. So create your own platform type game. You have a lot of the code already. Shouldn't take you a huge amount of time on that. If you got other ideas, what you want to do, again, I'm open to that. Now the final project is due on December 6th. Any past projects are also due on December 6th. So you can turn anything in from the beginning of the semester. I haven't put zeros in for those for people that haven't turned in some of those past projects because of the flaky feature of Blackboard. If I put zeros in for it and you submit it after the fact, if I grade it, it will still keep the zero there. I have to revert to previous grade to get it to work. And I'm always afraid I'll forget to do the revert to previous grade, and then you turn something in, I graded it, but it still gave you a zero. So I hold off on that. Is there any questions on what I'm looking for on the final project? Okay. And I'll be on the next 3 classes. We're meeting on Monday of next week. We don't have class on Wednesday, Thanksgiving break. And then I'll be on the 2nd and the 4th also. So if you have any questions, I'll generally answer questions, but I won't specifically help you with the final project. But you have the next 2 weeks to work on that and get done whatever you can. Well, I'll go ahead and stop the recording there and put all that information out there that I just said into Blackboard. And you have the rest of the time to work on the project.